Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've not published any YouTube videos. I was down in London for a few weeks with my wife and I had a lot of website work on as well. But of course, technology does not stand still. And over the last month, there has been a lot of interesting tech stories. But there was one story that really grabbed my attention, and it relates to Apple and it relates to privacy. Now, 20 or so years ago, when I first started building websites, we would use cookies. And cookies are still used today, but back then, cookies wasn't a bad word. It wasn't malicious. We would use it to try and improve page loading times for people, so they didn't have to reload information. And we would try and track website visitors and see how many people had visited our websites. And yes, that still goes on today, but over the last 10 years, cookies have become malicious, and we've seen a lot of advanced tracking by websites that invade our privacy. They're incredibly invasive now. Sometimes you go to these, content farms, these news websites, and they can be tracking about 50 different things, and they want to find out everything about you. It's not just your IP address, it's your browsing history, it's your demographics. They want to find out as much information as they can about you so that they can, sell that information to advertisers. And privacy is something that we should all start taking more seriously. Now, Apple have been on the news. They have been in the news recently for something slightly negative. There's been some stories over the last week talking about how in China they're kind of going against what they say they do, and they've been storing their computers. Agreed to move its Chinese customers' data to China. So this was them being complying with the Chinese authorities with as far as having to operate there and sell there. But there's been a lot of negativity about that. They've kind of denied what they're doing and all that. But that's a side issue. The story that I want to talk about today relates to Apple and privacy, but it's a positive thing. About a month ago, Apple released iOS 14.5, and one of the key features here was app tracking transparency. Now, in Apple iPhones, you have to opt in to tracking. You have to opt in, and you can see it here, allow apps to request to track. Now, this to me is a huge step forward in the fight against invasive apps and people that are trying to find out information about you. So now you have to opt in rather than opt out. And that is key. That is key. You now have to say, I want you to track my information rather than saying, I don't want you to do that. And one of the studies that's come out the last few weeks says that in the USA, 96% of US users have opted out of app tracking. 96%. And that is a clear signal. That is a clear signal to me that people don't want anyone to track them. They don't want, you don't want to download a game and then that game company now knows everything about you. You don't want that. And that's me talking about a good game company. A good game company. There's a lot of malicious companies that are trying to do more with the information than just, market you. So I think this is an incredible step by Apple. I think it's amazing. And I think this is something that could bring me back to the world of iOS. Now, I do have an iPad, but over the last few years, despite buying one iPhone last year, I've basically been an Android guy for the last few years because the phones are cheaper and I do like the flexibility of Android. But you're never going to get that same level of privacy with an Android phone. With Google, the product is you. Google make all of their money through advertising. All of the money is through app. I mean, yes, they've got some side projects on the go and they've got some other things, but nearly everything is funded through advertising. And Android itself is just a way for them to funnel people into the Android system so that you start using Google search and they can, blast advertisements and that at you. This is not a feature that Google could implement. I hope I'm wrong here. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I can't think of any way that Google would implement a feature such as this over the next 10 years. I really can't see them implementing this because their whole business model is based upon advertising. It's based upon selling to you. So I don't think we're going to see this same feature being introduced into the Android world. I hope I'm wrong. I hope governments step in. But until then, it looks like if you do value your privacy, it looks like you're going to have to go with iPhone. This is a story that was in the news a few weeks ago. I can't I can't stress how important I think this is. This is a significant feature that Apple have introduced. I think it's amazing. I really do think this is amazing. And this is something that could bring me back to the world of Apple. The way things are today, so many companies are invasive whenever you're browsing, whenever you're downloading an app. You download a calculator for your Android phone or something, and now they want to know your email address, and they want to sign up a newsletter, and they want to track your, they want to be able to view your contacts and all this stuff for a calculator app. All these apps are invasive, and they're all trying to grab your information. This is a fantastic step by Apple. It really is. I'd love to hear your opinion on this, guys. Please let me know what you think about this in the comment area below, and I hope you're all doing well as well. Until next time, take care.